All right, guys, so we're going to look at key features of a quadratic today. So the first thing that we are identifying are x-intercepts. So remember, that's where you're crossing the x-axis. So that would be at 0, 0. And at -2, 0. Your y-intercept, that's where you're crossing that y-axis. In this case, when I look, it's actually at 0, 0 as well. So sometimes you might share x and y-intercepts, and that's a-okay. Remember your vertex, that is the highest or the lowest point on your parabola. So if I look at this, I see that I have a maximum here. It is at -1, 2. So the point of extreme, that would be the maximum. In this case, they're asking for what the y value is. It would be 2. With quadratics, they form a parabola that is symmetrical, okay? So what symmetric means is that you could fold it in half and it would fall like on top of each other. So the axis of symmetry is just that vertical line that cuts your parabola in half. So it's going to go straight through your vertex. So the x is equal to -1 of my vertex. Roots, solutions, and zeros, they all mean the same thing. They all mean x-intercepts. So we have already identified these. They were all 0, 0 and -2, 0. So you could see different terminology that's telling you what your x-intercepts are. If you look at 3, the x-intercepts are right here. So to me, it looks like they are at like -3.5. And at -1/2. Your y-intercept, that's where you're crossing that y-axis at. So if I look at this, it looks to me like it's at -4. So I would say 0, -4. Your vertex, in this case, that's your highest point. So right here up at the very tip top, that is at -2, 4. In this case, once again, we had a maximum. The y value of our maximum is 4. Axis of symmetry is the vertical line that is splitting your parabola in half. So x is equal to -2. Basically, your axis of symmetry is always just the x value of your vertex. Remember, roots, solutions, and zeros, they all mean the same thing. They all mean x-intercepts. So we have already identified them to be -3.5, 0 and -1/2, 0. Number 4, in this case, if I look at my x-intercepts, they would be right here. So to me, it looks like -2, 0 and 0, 0. Your y-axis or your y-intercept, that is 0, 0 as well. Your vertex, in this case, we have a minimum because we have that U shape. The vertex is at -1, -2. So we had a minimum. The y value of our minimum is at -2. Remember, your axis of symmetry is what cuts your parabola in half. It's going straight through that vertex. So the x value of my vertex was -1. And we have already identified our roots, solutions, and zeros because they are the same as my x-intercept. All right. If you look at this next one, notice that you have no x-intercepts because it is never crossing over that x-axis. So you can just say none if it does not cross over your x-axis. You can graph these in Desmos as well if you want to look at negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 24. If I plug that in, I can easily find my graph over here. You can zoom in. In this case, I can get my points if you want to look at them by clicking on that little wheel and getting the table. They'll give you all of your points. But basically what I notice is I have a maximum. It's at -2, -16. My parabola is opening down. So in this case, it's not crossing our x-axis. So we have no x-intercepts. That would also mean no roots, no solutions, and no zeros if they asked that terminology. We have a y-intercept here at 0, -24. If they ask for the axis of symmetry, remember it's the line that's cutting straight through your parabola that goes through your vertex. So that would be x equals -2 for your axis of symmetry. And if they ask for whether it was a max or a min, we would say maximum, okay? The maximum value for the y was -16. So